everybody, and welcome back to Life Below. It's time for our weekly recap of Married at First Sight. This is season 11, episode 9, and it was titled Opening Up is Hard to Do. Alright, so usually I record this and upload it right after the show, but yesterday I was so tired. I couldn't even concentrate really on the show, so I just decided to watch it today and then give y'all a real good recap on it today or whatever, because I don't want to give y'all no lackluster stuff. Y'all were like, oh, what's wrong with us? So I decided to do it today. That's why I wasn't uploaded last night. And to stop any further delay, I won't be having any pictures or anything in this recap. I probably will do it for next Wednesday, I should say. All right, y'all. Anyway, let's just jump right into the episode. It's day 17. So it was day 17, day 18, and day 19. I don't think it was a day 20 because they didn't put it up there on the screen. The last date they said was day 19. So I'm assuming it was just those 3 days. But it opens up the episode with Karen and Miles doing laundry and cooking. Henry calling Christina, checking in. Sending him the voicemail. Well, I shouldn't say she's sending him to voicemail, but he's reaching her voicemail because she probably was at work she's a flight attendant. I don't know where she was doing, but she wasn't answering the phone. Amani and Woody waking up, kissing. Amelia and Bennett, they just chilling and whatever. And then Olivia and Brett, child, they couldn't get no sleep because the cats was up at 3:30 in the morning partying or whatever. I know that feeling. I have 3 cats. And it's just one. He want to be yodeling or whatever they be doing. Woo, child. So I could understand what they was going through. And then we see like a little snippet of Miles. He was checking out Karen's car because he said for like the last couple days it wasn't starting up or whatever. So he got it started up. I said, okay, Miles. And then we see Amelia, she walking home from like the store, whatever like that. She said Bennett was sick and he could barely talk and stuff, but he did manage to get out. He needed some ginger and tea. So she went out to get him some ginger. I said, oh, that's so cute. We started the episode off with Karen and Miles, so I'll just put their whole segment together because it was only one incident where it was the couples kind of met up, and it was Imani and Olivia. So I'll just put everything all together. So it's just going to be blocks of the people. So anyway, we're going to deal with Karen and Miles first. So Miles was saying like they've been married for over 2 weeks. There's still no real like affection or intimacy or anything like that. And then we see him flash back into talking to his friends about everything that she's been doing for him and stuff. So then he decided to invite his best friend over. I think his name was John. He's like a chef or whatever. So John is there basically to teach or help what's this boy named Miles cook or whatever. And cooking together in the kitchen, like especially like a small intimate setting like that, that's like I just said, it's intimate. So Karen comes in and she's like, oh, what's this or whatever. He's like, this is my friend, he's a good chef and stuff, and he's going to teach us like how to cook or whatever, or cook this meal or something like that. So it was real cute. They was Miles was acting all scary over the knives and stuff. She was laughing at him. They got real close, putting the ingredients in the pan. Like it was really like a good situation for both of them. They were laughing, doing all this other stuff. She was like, he did a good job. The meal looked good, okay? The chef ended up leaving. They were sitting there just talking and stuff. And she was like, he did good. Gold star for the meal. She was saying like him cooking and being thoughtful and stuff like that. But she just wonders if this will, if he'll continue to do this or if he was just doing it this one time. You know how she is, child. She was saying like she's starting to see like a different side of him, which is a good thing, she was saying, but she doesn't know if they're going to be together in the future or whatever. What else? Because what else she said? She said she wanted a husband that was going to take care of her needs, and just kind of just be thoughtful, just make her feel important basically. And then they got like this envelope came to the door. I think this was like the next day or something like that. They got this envelope that came to the door, and it was like the experts giving them questions to kind of get to know each other. It was about love. The main question they really spoke about each couple was how do you know you'll be in love with me, or how do you know you'll be in love, basically, and have you ever been in love? Those was like the typical questions. It wasn't anything deeper, I don't think, because they didn't, that I can remember, about any other type questions. It was basically like, do you know you're in love and stuff like that. Child, he was too scared to open up the envelope, but he said that he said like after a week he's been out of the honeymoon phase, and he said they're trying to get to know their new normal. He asked her how would she know if she's in love, and she was saying like when she feels more confident, more trusting to come out and talk to him, she'll feel safe, like a different level of safe, not just safe like, oh, okay, he's not gonna hurt me physically or whatever, but like that he can be open with everything. Like I can just be transparent and he'll just, catch it all or whatever. So that's how she said she'll know when she feels in love. And she said it will just kind of take some time, basically. And that's true. They only known each other for what, 19 days, 18 days. So it will take time for you to fall in love with the person and stuff like that. She was also saying like they haven't had a lot of serious conversations, and she wanted to know about his childhood. So then he was open enough to tell her, like he said he had like a happy childhood. His parents, we already knew his parents divorced when he was young. I think he said around like 9. So he kind of bounced back and forth to each household and stuff. And he was always trying to make his mom happy, always trying to make his dad happy, trying to play the peacekeeper. And we can see that, him playing that role. He was saying that when he got into college, I don't know if it was like his first year or second year, I don't remember what year of college he said, but he said when he got to college, he realized like, no, I can't do this anymore. So he told his dad, and his dad gave him like the talk like, you've done enough. Like, we see what you've done, and you've done enough. So you can't get burnt out by keep giving. And she was like, and that's where I can see this going. Like, you're going to keep giving, and then I don't want you to get burnt out in this relationship. And then she also brought up like a good point, and I could kind of see what she was saying, but I really feel like it's just miles. She was saying like she wants to feel special. She wants to feel like the stuff he's doing is him showing how he's growing and loving her or whatever, not just because that's what he does. And if it's like, well, you do that with other people, what are you doing for me to make me feel special type thing. So I could see where she was going with it. Could be because she just doesn't want to feel like, oh, okay, this is just something that this is like his norm or whatever. Like his is I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but she doesn't want to feel like he's just doing it to just do it, because that's what it is, not because he loves her, he cares for her, he wants to show her how appreciative and stuff like that. It's just something that he naturally does. But I feel like Miles is that giver, that carer, and he wants to make people happy and stuff like that. So he's going to automatically do it. But I see where she's saying like make her feel like it's something special, like it's something different that he doesn't do normally with other people. So I could see what she was saying. I don't really think that he understood it, because he was like, well, I'm just letting you know it's going to get better with time, and because this is me, like I'm going to do me, I'm going to show you more and more and more and stuff like that. He was like, it gets better with time and stuff. So I don't really think he understood what she was trying to come relate to him or whatever. So we'll see. But what else? She was saying like she doesn't want him to get caught up in just being like the perfect husband. Just like be yourself, like you're gonna make mistakes or whatever like that, so just be okay with that. I wonder what his sign is. When is his birthday? I might have to Google that. Yeah, he reminds me. Okay, anyway, the next scene we saw them two together. They went grocery shopping and stuff, and it was a cute moment between them two. It really wasn't anything heavy. She said that she was starting to feel like she was married, like she was going grocery shopping for her husband. So that's a good thing, because we know Karen struggles with that. And then she asked him like, what you want me to cook for you? He gave his little menu: catfish, asparagus, some potatoes. She said, all right, I got you. And then they was in the grocery store, and they had stopped for a second. And I don't know what he said, but she said, why are you so open with your feelings and stuff? And he was saying, well, how does that make you feel? And I think she said it was a turn off. Because he was like, huh? And then she was like, it's just different. And she said it's like something new. And then she compared it to like a hairstyle. Like, you know how you get this new hairstyle and you don't know how to manage it. You don't know if you should wrap it up, put a bonnet on it, put it in a... Like, you don't know what you should do with it. Like, you like the hairstyle, but you don't know how to handle it and stuff. So she did early on tell him that she did like him and stuff. And there was some attraction there and stuff like that. So that was good. So, he asked her in the grocery store, do you think emotional intelligence and masculinity can be in one person? Can they match or whatever? And she said yes. I was like, well, maybe she changed her mind, because all these other 8 episodes, she has not been saying it went together. Because, in fact, she's been telling the cameras that he not masculine because he is emotional and stuff like that. So I'm like, maybe she changing her mind. Maybe she more open to it, or maybe she didn't want to hurt his feelings. What y'all think about that one? Because I was like, is she lying, or is she finally realizing that they can be in one person? And then they at home, child, and they had all this cuteness all day. They've been, vibing, getting along and stuff like that. They putting the food away when they get there. Child, why you say going grocery shopping was a date? She was like, that was funny. So then he wanted to have like a deeper conversation about intimacy or whatever. And he was like, she was like, well, I think we had conversations on intimacy before. He was like, nah, like every time I bring it up, you kind of shy away from it and you don't really answer it or whatever. So he was just like, she was like, oh, okay, well, so he was like, well, we here now, let's have the conversation. Child, when he asked the question, she did exactly what he said. She got all quiet and all like she was uncomfortable with it or whatever. But she was just like, he was like, well, what you want to talk about or whatever? And he was like, well, how do we get there? She was like, well, you just take it slow and stuff. And he was like, well, what are your physical needs? Like, what are your needs and stuff? And like, define taking it slow. Like, what do you, like, how do we get there? She was like, well, I think we'll just, talk about it when we get there or whatever. He was like, well, we not there now. Like, let's talk about how so he was like, well, how can we get there? Like, how, like, whatever. She was like, well, I don't think we're on that level or whatever. And he was like, well, just give me more. Like, how can we get there or whatever? So she was like, well, it'll just come naturally, and all this other stuff is not something that you could just put on a calendar, March 26th at 9 p.m. and stuff. Child, why this man get up and put it on a goddamn calendar, y'all? I said, Miles, no. Like, you can joke about it or whatever, but actually writing it on the calendar, sir. No, that's something you just keep mentally. You keep that in the mental. You can keep that in your mental Rolodex up there. You don't write that down. Child, she said he wrote on the calendar, sex with my spouse. So, of course, that turned her off. That just shut down everything. And she was like, that was the most childish moment. It was disrespectful. I felt disrespected in my own house. He crossed the boundary. And then she was like, Miles, and she was like, while he was writing it on there, she was like, Miles could give himself a hand job. And that's how they kind of ended it or whatever. I was just like, ooh, this is not going to be good, because the scenes from next episode, like, it looked like they had like some, not Kama Sutra. What is that thing called? Where you're like intimate, but you're not touching. I cannot think of the word, what it's called. Shoot, it'll come to me later. But it looked like they were kind of doing that, but it also looked like she was saying like they can't get past his disrespect or something like that. So hopefully she said that in the first hour, and then in the second hour they kind of was together, because I'm like, ugh, that's going to be uncomfortable. Then let's move on to Christina and Henry. Before I move on, what did y'all feel about Miles and Karen? What did y'all feel like? You think they can get over it? Did y'all like their chemistry this episode? Y'all let me know. Next, Christina and Henry. Christina and Henry, this episode really surprised me. They were like really cute. It was some hopeful moments, but then I saw the preview for next week's child. Let's get into it. So they were having like a flashback and a little tiff that they had and whatever. And he was saying, because Henry was in the house by himself, because Christina been out all day. She ain't been home all day, child. And he was saying like he knows she's impatient and he understands her impatience, but he doesn't like the way she handles it or whatever. So then Christina came in and she was saying like she was out hanging with her friends. She was out drinking. She was out having a good old time, child. But she wants to have a serious conversation with him. So he was like, oh, okay. Come to find out, she has ADD or ADHD, and she was on medication for it, and she stopped taking her medication like a month prior or whatever. So she was telling him like she hasn't been taking her medication, and she can tell a difference in her not taking her medication because it's making her moody, it's making her tired, it's making her irritable, and she's being more impatient. So he was like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Get back on your medication. He ain't saying that crass. But basically he was in support of her getting back on her medication. And then he asked her like, why did she get off of it? And she said like, it's a big stigma. And it is. A lot of people be looked down or judged and all this other stuff because you're taking medication. But like he said, if you need medication, take the medication. Like, people take different medication for different reasons. Like, don't let other people make you feel bad about taking your medication. He said he was in all support of her taking her medication. He would never judge her about taking it. Like, he was there for her. And she also said like her mom is like her main person trying to keep her off of it because she doesn't believe in medication. Christina, look, you is too old to be still listening to what your mama look here, mom, I appreciate your opinion and everything like that. However, this is stabilizing me. This is making me feel good. So I'm going to take this because without this medication, I don't feel like myself. I am not able to function or be productive or grow relationships or anything like that. So I'm going to take this. And she said when she's on it, she feels better. So girl, take your medication. Your man don't care. Your man is there to support you. He's not judging you or anything like that. And right now, that's all that matters. And I was like, he need to tell Karen how to do this because, we know how she was on that whole depression thing. But at any rate, they get to the questions, and he like, let me pour some of this wine, child. He almost filled the whole glass. I was like, Lord. But he said he likes her. He still wants to get to know her. He wants to kind of spend more time with her, so their feelings can, come together more or whatever. And he was saying, like, because of course they asked the whole love question again, and he said, falling in love comes in different like realms and stuff like that, different levels, but he really believes like it's just a feeling and it'll come naturally or whatever. And he asked her, was she in love? And she said, yeah, with her last ex. They was broke at one time, I guess, and she said like they ain't had like a penny to their name. They walked to the store because they ain't had no car, and they brought like a can of soup, but it was like the best time. They had a good time, good chemistry and stuff like that. But then their relationship had like these roller coasters and stuff, and she just normalized getting yelled at, being made fun of, people being mean to her. So she normalized that. And so she says that she realized that she was the common denominator in some of her failed relationships. And I was just like, that was big of her to even admit that. She also said that she sees Henry, why she was matched with Henry. She said that he brings her back down to earth. Like, he helps, make her feel normal, makes her feel calm. He doesn't make fun of her. He doesn't yell at her. When they have an issue, they discuss it or whatever like that. So she realizes why they were matched up finally. I was like, Lord have mercy. So she said she's just kind of trying to switch her brain over to see what a healthy relationship is, which is understandable. And then they kind of smiled and stuff. I was like, this is so cute. Then like the next day, or maybe I don't know, because like I said, it was day 17, 18, 19. So one of those days they went golfing. he likes to play golf. He's really good at playing golf. So he's more confident in stuff that he likes to do and that he knows what to do. So she suggested that they play golf because, like I said, he was comfortable with it or whatever. They had a good time. He was teaching her how to play. She was listening. Like, she was attracted to the confidence that he had. So it made her more attractive to him. He became more attracted to her because she was patient. She was willing to learn. She was a fast learner. They had like a good time. They were like sipping drinks and talking. And then he was telling her how his dad used to take him golfing, and that's when they're real close and stuff like that. And they were talking about how they had like good chemistry, and even if they get like in like a little argument or something like that, they'll come out to golf because it was like a good time. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. Finally, we've been waiting 9 episodes. I was like, oh, praise him. So then like the next day or something, he decided to take her salsa dancing because she likes to dance. So they went salsa dancing, and at first it was real awkward. Of course, you know, you gotta learn the steps and stuff, and he's not as confident or child. He was so stiff learning them steps at first, but he loosened up and he had a good time. And she was just like, oh wow, she enjoyed it. Like, she enjoyed it. It was lots of touching going on, like nothing like real like sexual, but in their case it was good. Like, I was just like, about time. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about this I was about to say Chemistry and Henry, Christina and Henry segment. Then Woody and Amani, child, it really wasn't nothing too hardcore about Woody and Imani. They had like a little mani-pedi day and stuff, and they had a good time. She was like, I really like my husband. Like, I like that I can go out and get my nails done with him, and we have a good time and whatever. They were kind of joking because she was telling him like, well, look, I'm taking my hair out or whatever. You know what, last episode or the episode before, she was just like, we need to discuss this stuff. So she was like, well, I'm taking my hair out. He was like, well, how you going to get it done? She was like, I think I'm just going to shave it off. You know, I think that would be a good look for me or whatever. He was like, yeah, no, So she was like, well, how do you like hairstyle or something like that? And he was like, well, you know, I like long hair and stuff. And he was like, you know, and she was like, well, why you like long hair? He was like, so I can have something to hold on to. She was like, you was a mess. I was cracking up. But she happy. She like her husband and stuff. The next scene we saw them, they was coloring. And then they were talking about love. So this was where their love question came in to play. And he said he was in love twice. And she was like, well, how do you know someone, you know, you're in love with someone? And she was like, well, you're always on my mind. I go outside the box to make her smile. I do this, cook her favorite meal, give her massages, do all this stuff. So it's showing like flashbacks. What he was saying was matching up to what he was doing to Amani. She was like, well, I feel like you describing a lot of stuff that you've done for me and stuff. And he was like, she was like, you in love? And then he was like, I mean, you know, I got love for you. I love you or whatever. Yeah, I love you, my wife. Like, I like the way he said it, because he wasn't going to just be like, yeah, I mean, I got love for you. Yeah, I love you. You know, I love you. Whatever like that. Yeah, and I got love for you. She was like, you got love for me, or you in love with me? And he was like, both. And she was like, oh, okay. So she was geeking. She was smiling and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, like, I really do love the person that you are, and stuff like that. And so she was telling him, like, I can't say that I'm like deeply in love with you or whatever. Like, I like you, and I can see that I can grow in love in you and stuff like that. But she feels like she's self-sabotaging, like she's closing herself off to it because she's been in love before, but she's been hurt, so she doesn't want to get hurt again. And he was saying, like, in his interview that he has to take his time, and well, he has to be patient and then show her like he's not those other guys, that she needs to give him a clean slate. And he was just like, it kind of sucks or whatever, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Which it does, but I feel like she is trying to show him love and not well, from what we see, she's not closing him off too tough. So I feel like it's going to get there or whatever. Because like the next scene we see, she's cooking dinner for him. She's showing him like, I do appreciate you, even though I'm not in love with you right now. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate you sharing your feelings. I appreciate you being there for me or whatever. And he was surprised. He was geeking. He loved it or whatever. He was like, it just felt good. And it showed him that she does kind of love him or care for him or whatever like that. So they both went in. And child, that whole scene when he was, she was like, well, I feel like if I just wear a burqa, you would be all intimate and stuff like that. Because he was like, well, what you want to do after dinner? She was like, I just want to cuddle. And she had like some little holes in her tights. He was like, you got holes in your tights? You trying to tip my flesh, girl? You trying to... She was like, I feel like if I'm wearing a burqa, your flesh will be tempted. He was like, well, if you was a burger, what did he say? He didn't even say burger. He was like, well, I would get the bun, the mustard, the ketchup, and just sop you up. She was like, what that got to do with a burger? He was like, oh, I thought you were saying burger. Child, I was cracking up. Imani was cracking up. She was like, why would you think, how you going to get dressed in a burger? He was like, I don't know. All I know, I was going to take it off. I said, these two is too cute. Child, what y'all feel about them? They doing good. Like, then Amelia and Bennett, another good couple. They doing excellent, child. They cleaning and stuff, and what was it? Yeah, they was cleaning. He was thanking her for, taking care of him while he was sick and stuff like that. We find out that they had sex. So he was like, he using all these big fancy words and stuff like that to say that they had sex, child. She just like, we did it. I was cracking up. So he said he is satisfied with her current level of intimacy. Because they was like, well, how did you like it? He was like, well, I'm satisfied with her current level of intimacy. I was dying. Then that's when the questions arrived or whatever. So he was asking her, like, or vice versa. Was it her? I don't know who asked the question. Because they was like, how will you know you're in love? And I think it was her who said it would be like joy, romance, compatibility. You would know because I'm like connected or intertwined with that person. Like, just kind of so you feel it in your body, basically, type thing. And he was saying like you will feel at ease and feel passionate, comfortable communicating and stuff. And she agreed. She felt the same way and stuff like that. She said that she feels comfortable with him, but she feels like there has to be more growth for her to actually say that she is in love with him or anything like that. He said he loves her, but he's not in love with her. So that's really cute. And then they had like this little romantic stare down, child. I was just like, Lord. Then the next day, he said that he was going to, the next day they're waking up and stuff like that. We find out Anne, her friend, stayed the night because she wanted to do like this big surprise for him and stuff. They made like this cake. It looked like Bennett, like the glasses, and I was just like, Lord. But he comes out the kitchen or comes out the bathroom from getting dressed and stuff. And she done forgot to hide the cake and whatnot. So it was real cute. She was like, don't look. He was like, well, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen no cake. But she has like this whole day planned out for the park, for him to do slackline. And she has like a little matching outfit for him. So she takes him to the park and she shows him how they tie the stuff up to each tree and stuff. And then she's showing him how to, well, she didn't show him. She was just like teaching him how to do it. So she put him on there. She was like, first just learn how to sit there comfortably. And then after you sit there comfortably, stand up and stuff. So he's holding on to her hand because it's shaky, basically. It's like it's like a tight rope, but it's not tight. It's slacked or whatever. So it's like, but like bouncy. So he's nervous, of course. So after a couple tries of trying to, get up, he fell down, trying to get up, fall down or whatever. He finally gets up, but he's holding on to her hand. And it was just so cute. And then he took maybe like 2 steps or 1.5 steps and then ended up falling off. But they had a good time, basically. And then she had another surprise for him. She put her sweater over his head, like as a blindfold. She set up this cute little picnic, put up a piñata. And then they were just talking and whatever. And their conversation was just as goofy. What was it? I wouldn't give up the world for you or something like that. He was like, well, I just find that just as crazy. Like, I mean, I wouldn't give up the world for you. I mean, I like you and everything, but yeah, no. So they were just kind of, it was cute. Like, they just are like a goof troop together, child. And he hitting the pinata. He, after missing a couple times, he hit the pinata finally. I was just like, Lord. But it was cute. And what he said he wouldn't give up the world. He was like, well, I have to be content with myself first, basically. So I need to love myself, and then I can show you love and stuff like that. So I really like Bennett. I like Bennett and Amelia. What else happened? I think that was pretty much it at the park. And then they came home and they were cooking and cleaning, and they were basically delegating like cleaning tasks. So they were going to have like a weekly draft so they can switch up chores every day and stuff like that. He said he likes cleaning. She just basically want to get the mail. So, but if he going to be a house husband, he going to have to do the majority of the chores. And then he was asking her, could he borrow some of her socks? Why you only got 2 pairs of socks? Come on now, Bennett, get it together. But they are, again, cute. What can you say about Amelia and Bennett? They are just too dang on cute. And then we have Olivia and Brett. Let me make sure, because I feel like I skipped somebody. But no, that's 5 couples. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, Olivia and Brett. Like, this episode, it really wasn't a lot, but it was real cute, and we got to see them bond a little bit more. So Olivia and Brett, these two was on a struggle bus this episode, child. I was just like, ooh, it's looking rough for them two. Excuse me, what happened? I feel like I missed something. I think that it opened up with them opening up the questions and stuff. So Brett, when they were asking about the questions and stuff like that, he really couldn't give a serious answer. So it was like frustrating Olivia because he really wasn't being serious and stuff like that. But he does say that this relationship feels like any other relationship. He likes her and stuff like that. And they're going to have to, just take their time to get to know each other a little bit more. She asked, like, how will you know you are in love? And he thought about it for like a little while. And then he was just like, well, when you know, it's just a feeling or whatever. And she asked, like, how are you going to actually fall in love or something along those lines? And then he was just like, well, sexy underwear dancing and me reminding you to floss and stuff. And she like, no, like, for real. He was like, oh, okay, well, like firework displays and me riding my BMX bike. And she was like, do you have a BMX bike? He was like, well, no, I could get one though. I was just like, oh, okay. So she said, like, him talking about his feelings in love is just like exhausting because I guess he's uncomfortable talking about it, so he can't be serious. So him joking is his way of communicating that with her. But it was just like, can we just be serious for once or whatever? And then they finally like kind of agree, like just seeing each other in each other's element and being passionate and stuff like that about, what they love will help the other person see how they're in love and stuff. And then she said, well, I think we should just kind of focus on the small stuff now and leave the big stuff for later. And he was like, well, that's the opposite of what I ever learned in dealing with a relationship and stuff. And he sees that as a red flag. I kind of see what she's saying. Like, let's handle the small stuff. But I see what he's saying too. Like, we need to handle these big things, because if we can't come to an agreement on these big things, the small stuff ain't really gonna matter. The small stuff is the small stuff, and that's kind of like nitpicky type stuff. Maybe like peeing in the shower type thing. Like, you ain't gonna be in the shower with him, so why you worried about if he pee in the shower and he clean the shower? Like, okay. That's like little stuff. Her not flossing, that's little stuff. Like, you can kind of get over. You're not going to really be like, oh, well, I'm done with this relationship. But like bills and travel. Well, travel, I mean, but if you ain't traveling, that's the problem for me. But like, you ain't got no pay. Like, you got to apply and stuff like that. But like bills, financial stuff, housing, stuff like that. That's big stuff that if you can't come to kids, if you can't come to an agreement on that, then that can break a relationship. So I see exactly where he's coming from. Like, we need to talk about these big things first. But I guess I don't know if she was really, because she said what she said. So I can't like say she meant something else. But she needs to just take it one day at a time, and they need to come and fix those big things, not the small things. So yeah, then we saw Amani and Olivia meeting at the park, because they have, have like a good friendship and stuff like that. So they're just at this like alligator park or something where there's like a trail, and they're walking through and stuff, and they're just talking. And Amani was saying like, because Olivia asked Amani like how her relationship was going with Woody, and she said like their personalities are similar. He brings her out of her comfort zone because he's on 24/7. So like she said, usually it's just like she's on when she's with her friends and stuff, but when she come home, it's just like he's just like woo woo rah 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 type thing. So Olivia said that she feels like Brett is always on and always happy, always jokester, stuff like that. And sometimes she needs a minute because her job is rough. She's just tired and stuff like that. So she just needs a minute to kind of cool down and stuff. And Amani asked her, was she growing attracted to him? And she kind of paused a little bit, but she said, yeah, like a little bit. And then Amani was saying like she's getting butterflies. And Olivia said that she wants to get those butterflies and stuff like that. And was it Olivia who asked about the guy time? Like, how do you feel like when they have the guy time or something like that? And Amani said that Woody comes home frustrated and annoyed, really. I was like, well, what are we not seeing those guy times? But she said that Brett gives like the politician answer. And then we saw flashbacks of what he does. He doesn't want to answer the question about the rating. He didn't want to answer the question about, them having sex or being intimate. Like he does give that politician type answer or whatever like that. And Olivia I think she said maybe he's not comfortable with it. And then Olivia did say that he has what she say, they get along, but they kind of need to overcome the bigger issues, kids, financials, life goals, stuff like that. He wants to give his money to his house, which she understands, but she doesn't have that. So she just wants to travel the world and stuff like that. And she doesn't feel like he's going to come to terms on that. So like she was saying, like she says one thing, but then she says one thing to him, and then she says another thing to Amani. So with him, she said, let's focus on the small stuff. And then with Amani, she brings up the big issues. That's not, so like, yeah. And all right, y'all, I don't know what happened. It just kind of clicked off and it stopped recording. So I don't know what I was saying. But at any rate, they kind of need to come together, compromise, and work on their issues together. And she also said in her interview that they do have to start doing things together. Because I think earlier in the day with Brett, she said that her doing her thing, him doing his thing, and then them coming together. But she did say now that they kind of need to come together and do stuff together so they can kind of grow their relationship. And so she planned like a tour for them at the alligator, not an alligator park, but a swamp tour or whatever. And at first it looked like they wasn't having a good time. It looked kind of like womp womp womp. The alligators was lazy. He was making jokes like he wasn't happy with the tour and stuff. And then like later on, like when the man started bringing out the alligators, the bullfrogs, and all these other animals and stuff like that, and then they did see a alligator eat a marshmallow, it looked like they was having a good time. So then they started talking about their future dates and stuff like that. So that was good. Yeah, that was it for the episode, y'all. So y'all let me know how y'all felt about each couple. Go down there in them comments, especially what y'all feel about Karen and Miles. Do you feel like they can get over it or no? Oh, and that's what the thing was in next week's episode with Christina and Henry. I hope that they are editing it to make it look like, well, I don't hope that. Yeah, I do hope they are editing his response to her question, like, do you see a future with us? To him saying no, because I was just like, ooh, at least he being honest, but that looked like that broke her heart. So I hope they just beefing it up to make us watch it. Like, we not going to watch it, but yeah, because I was like, ooh, I thought they was getting somewhere. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all felt about the episode. If y'all like this recap, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed to my channel but are watching this review, because a lot of y'all watch it, but I don't have the subscribers, so can y'all just hit the subscribe button for me, and then hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. All right, y'all, until next time, peace.